Alright, welcome to Adam's podcast with Garth.
With Garth.
And today's topic will be about the summer, what we're doing this summer, what TV shows we're watching this summer, what we're looking forward to, and maybe, just maybe, what we're worried about, if anything.
Are my levels sounding good?
Yeah, you guys are all sounding pretty good. We just got a large mic. We're out in the backyard. We're just cooling it.
Okay.
So I'm going to start with what I'm looking forward to in the summer. If this COVID restrictions are off, which I highly doubt that because we live in Winnipeg.
Yep.
Possibly going to like restaurants and stuff like that if this stuff ever, lifts, and possibly hanging out with friends and stuff like that. So that's what I'm looking forward to.
Yeah, right on.
Yeah.
What about you, Garthy pal?
Well, for me, my summer plans, just like right now, my dad's working out of town. I think it's Edmonton, I think.
Okay.
Or I might fuck that up, but it's somewhere in Alberta, like he's on the pipeline.
On the pipeline? Oh. Okay.
Yeah.
So he's probably not working right in Edmonton then. He's probably working, somewhere probably a little bit north of there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then, we were gonna go camping, but then the restrictions came in, and that basically threw a wrench into all the gears on that thing. We probably won't be able to leave the province to go camping, but he was saying that he's probably gonna get another job with this guy that I met in BC.
Okay.
And that's closer to the the Manitoba border. So it's just like a 7-hour drive over instead of like 15 hours.
Yeah, that'll be good.
And just like he was saying, we could probably come camping with him, but don't get your hopes up.
Yeah. Yeah, I like camping too. I'm big on it. I missed the folk festival this year. Yeah.
Yeah, I miss everything.
Yeah, I miss camping too. Remember last summer I was in Wanless, Manitoba for 53 days straight.
Nice.
Just like literally just get drunk, blare country music, have fires, drag dead trees out of the woods to continue your fire because you don't want to pay $10 for a cart of wood.
Yeah, Folk Fest was like, I think it was about $10 for a bundle. And literally you're just cycling through ice and wood. So every day you're probably buying like a bundle of wood, at least one or two bundles of wood, and like 3 or 2 packs of ice, and you're just every day pretty much for 5 days.
Yeah.
And you're keeping a solid buzz going the whole 5 days if you're doing it right.
Yeah. Yeah, this like fun. Pretty much the same with Wanlist, except it's like the extreme redneck version. It's just like literally just like get up at 9 a.m., start drinking and blaring country music, sing outside your camper in a wife beater and cut off jean shorts.
I mean, that's living the dream, right?
Holy.
When I was just a quick one, but I used to have a fridge in my backyard.
Yeah?
And my mom didn't like it. She didn't like me having a fridge in the backyard. Well, it was her fridge.
Yeah?
But it was one of those old fridges that had 2 motors.
Yeah, one for the freezer, one for the fridge.
Yeah, and it was like this big, heavy, honking thing that's probably going to last a lifetime. But I painted it, like, I spray painted it, this, like, cool, like, yellow and blue, like, it was like this collage type thing. It had, like, Red Hot Chili Peppers symbol in it, and it had, I think it was, like, a white stripe symbol or something like that, just, like, I used stencils. And so it looked pretty cool. But then I took it to my place on Lipton Street, and I had it in the garage, and I just had it there for like maybe a week. I was like planning on just taking it into the basement, but I needed help because this thing is massive, right?
Yeah.
And heavy. But within that week, grew legs. Probably scrap metal guys probably came by and just it was inside the garage, like tucked in away, but it left. So somebody came there with a truck and and snagged
Yeah,
the
like 2 or 3 guys.
classic fridge. Yeah.
Yeah. I've never had a yard fridge, but I have had a yard dishwasher. The yard dishwasher was just basically the place where you just throw all your empties once you're finished drinking them. We hauled that away about a month ago. It was kind of sad to see it leave. Just like, where the hell am I going to put my empties now?
Yeah, and what else am I looking forward to? Or what are my plans? Not what I'm looking forward to. Well, my plans are pretty much do nothing. Do school, actually. School's this Vincent Massey, where I go to school, has gotten 6 COVID cases now.
Ew.
It's insane. And basically we're going to online learning now. And that's what I'm going to be doing for the first 2 months. And then the second 2 months, I have no idea, honestly, because after the online learning and after these 3 weeks of bullshit with the Manitoba government keeping people safe and stuff.
Yeah, I can beat Pallister with an iron rod right now.
You and everybody in the Winnipeg School Division, or all the school divisions. I was just listening to the our union meeting. It's kind of boring, honestly. It's pretty boring stuff, but we're switching over unions because hopefully we'll have somebody better
I
representing
can
us
get later, it's fine.
to fight the old 7-footer. I don't know how tall. I think he's 7 feet. Pallister. He's like almost. He's tall.
Yeah.
I remember seeing him walk by in the legislature building. He's a tall boy.
Yeah, one thing at least you can look at the positives. For 2 months, you won't even have to wear pants.
Yeah, that's true.
Just put on a shirt and comb your hair and you're done. And just make sure you have the camera at the right angle.
Yeah, so I heard that things are getting canceled this summer, but
Yeah, like the Red River X. Like, I think that's canceled.
Oh,
too.
yeah.
Yeah, mega
100%.
canceled.
Yeah, big carnivals. Yeah, not really high on the priority list right now, but no. But I think there's things to still look forward to, and there's things to still like. We kind of have to just DIY,
Do it yourself.
Yeah.
this
No,
summer.
that's what I've been doing. It's like almost Soviet Russia a little bit. Just like, if you can't buy the thing you're trying to get, you just make it yourself pretty much. Like,
Amen,
I
brother.
want to try and I want to make a motorized bicycle. I found a weed whacker engine in the alley, and then I got another old broken weed whacker off my neighbor. I'm hoping to make one working engine out of it, or trade the non-working entire weed whacker on Kijiji for a chainsaw, or at least an engine, because it'll already have the sprocket on there for the chain.
Is it gas powered?
Yeah.
Yeah, gas powered weed whackers. Yeah, well, it's the simpler engines, the simpler technology. It's easier to make things out of, right?
Yeah.
It's like an old stick shift vehicle. It's easier to work on. The parts are easier to come by, and
Yeah, and
cheaper
even
to
if you
fix.
can't find them, you could probably literally fabricate them yourself.
Yeah, I remember with my truck, they said they put instead of the EGR, I think it was the EGR valve, something like that, which is a pretty pricey piece. I think they said they put some kind of disc in instead.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, well,
As long as it runs, I don't give 2 fucks.
yeah. I mean, it was probably not the best for the environment, but this truck didn't last me that much longer. Now I've got this new Chevy.
Yeah. If you want to talk about destroying the environment, I remember just I think it was my great uncle Marno. Just he's literally if you go to Wanless off of Highway 10, you pass by the store, you pass by the big white and blue house on the left. That's my grandparents' house. It used to be a cafe there, but it's not there anymore.
Okay.
And then the further you go down, once you get over the railroad tracks, you'll see this one big-ass lot just filled with cars. And that's my great-uncle Marno's yard.
Okay, so it's a junkyard?
No, just like pretty much like 90% all the cars run, and probably the other 10% are just sitting there leaking fluids.
So it's a junkyard.
Yeah.
Just kidding.
Yeah, but what was I gonna say? My dad, speaking of destroying the environment, one time we were trying to go ice fishing. Instead of using an ice auger, we did something really bad for the environment, and we used a chainsaw to saw the ice out.
Well, I mean,
Well, that's not bad for the environment. That's just stupid.
it's only bad for the environment if you use the chainsaw and then you dumped a bunch of crude oil in into the water.
Well,
Like-
that's what happened.
Like, sure, there's some chain oil that gets in there.
Yeah, it smelled like gas afterwards, and it's like, should we really be doing this? And my dad's like, no.
One time when my dad was like 10 years old, he was telling me he was playing with gas by the lake, and he literally set almost the entire lake on fire.
Yeah. Well, wait a second. You set the lake on fire? Oh, because it was just floating on top.
Yeah, the gas floats above the water.
Yeah. Reminds me of Game of Thrones. You ever watch Game of Thrones at all?
Kinda.
Never even seen it.
I've seen the first one where whatever his name gets his head cut off, and then I stopped watching it.
Ned Stark.
Yeah.
Is that like a movie or a
It's a show.
It's a
brand
show.
of pants?
But the thing that reminded me of it was Wildfire. So Cersei, she's like the Mad Queen sort of thing, and she decides that the only way to kind of fight off the people from the east or whatever, the Easteros people, are to set her own, like, they basically, the King's Landing is like right on like a peninsula type of thing, or it's like on a little, so to defend against these invaders, or she basically, like, all the ships are coming in, and she just sets I think it's like, yeah, it's kind of like, I don't know, I'll have to look at the geography of it again, but she sets like all this basically wildfire, which is just fire that burns green and it burns on the water. It's really cool. It's like, it's science fiction, right? Or, you know, medieval science fiction. So,
Huh.
but it's all based. Game of Thrones is all based on the War of the Roses, which is like, so if you take Ireland, like the United Kingdom, right, and Scotland, and you kind of just like sandwich them together, you've pretty much got Westeros. Like, if you look at the geography, it looks like he took the two islands and he went, put them together, and he made basically the area for all of his books. So, and then there's Easteros, and that's like, you know, the Middle East, right? But, or it could be, you know, that sort of thing. But it's kind of cool. I mean, I like those books. We had who did we have on that we were talking about books with?
Oh yeah, CC Jade.
Yeah, with CC we were talking about some books.
Like we were talking about The Fault in Our Stars and stuff like that.
Yeah, you should read it. Just do it. Just do it. Just do it. Just do it.
Fucking do it!
Yeah, it's a good book. I think I've only seen the movie though, so I don't know. Maybe it's a good book.
Yeah.
Pretending like I've read it.
I don't really read books. I should read more. Like, I know I have a ton of comics in my room, but what else about summer? Not much really with this COVID stuff. Like, I could see there'd be something to talk about if you could go to bars, restaurants, like for example, what's the restaurant name? Like Smitty's or something like that, or whatever. But you can't even do that during these 3 weeks. It's practically just sitting at home playing video games. Oh, that's what I wanted to talk about. The new Resident Evil game came out.
Yeah.
And it's pretty scary. I've been Twitch streaming it live. And that's what I've been doing. That's what I'm gonna be doing for these past 3 weeks.
Right.
Because nothing else to do. And also, there's the E3 game conference this June.
Right. E3.
What the hell does E3 stand for anyway? Anyway,
Electronic Arts
like electronic entertainment, entertainment.
Expo.
Oh,
Expo, yeah. I think you're right on that one. Yeah, I've heard of E3 before. I was following the gamer stuff for a little bit when I was all into Smash Bros. Surprising. Well, I mean, there wasn't any new. Like, there was a couple new Smash Bros that came out, but I was like super into Melee, like at the point where I was like a little bit of an addiction, and I would just play it. I remember we went on a road trip all the way to BC, and we had a little CRT in the back of the was it a CRT? No, it was on. We got it for the laptop. I think it was on a laptop, so we were playing with GameCube controllers.
yeah.
That's
Yeah,
crazy.
that's pretty cool. And the thing is, Nintendo has the largest gaming library out of all the gaming systems because they're practically from 1985, I think.
Well, technically, that's when they hit the market in North America. Like, before that, in 1983 in Japan, they had the Famicom, basically a Japanese version of Nintendo Entertainment System, and...
They said Nintendo's been around for 100 years, but I don't
Yeah.
really know.
Oh, yeah. Actually, they started as a playing card company.
Oh,
Really?
really?
I
Yeah.
didn't know that. Crazy.
Yeah. And then just, like, even if you go back further, just, like, 1978, around there, just, like, they were making, like, Pong consoles in Japan.
Yeah.
Apparently it's been around since the 1800s, and I'm like, no. I don't know about that.
Yeah, I doubt that. I mean, did they have electricity?
No, just, like, Nintendo's been around since then. They were a playing card company before.
Crazy. Yeah, the
They made
actual.
playing cards and,
company.
like, toys and shit.
Yeah, it's kind of cool. Yeah, it's kind of cool to see like the evolution of some of these companies and what they started out as and what they are now.
Yeah.
You know.
Just like Nintendo, just like after the video game crash in 1983, it's just like, it happened just because with the Atari 2600, there were so many crappy games just being thrown onto the shelves, just at some
man.
point nobody even wanted to buy any video games anymore.
Which
Or-
system was that for? That was for PS. Was that PS1 or no?
No, Atari 2600.
Atari, the old Atari. Yeah.
Or comic books, like in the 60s, comic books got banned because they were violent for children.
Yeah.
So it's kind of the same idea.
How so though?
Yeah, kinda. One's a band, one's just kinda like literally nobody even wanted to buy them anymore.
True.
Yeah.
Just like, and then just like pretty much like.
Yeah, I think
in
comic
the-
books. Sorry to interrupt.
Yeah.
I think the thing with comic books is that like I'm not a comic book guy. You know, like I've never when I was growing up I never really collected them, and I kind of regret that.
Yeah.
I was reading Garfield comics. And that was pretty much it.
In the newspaper.
Actually, in my library, I'd go and
Oh.
I'd just like everybody would be quiet and I'd be reading. I'd be like, and like everybody would just be like, "What's going on?" And I just read the same that and Shel Silverstein as when I was a kid.
Yeah.
And people thought I was weird because I take out the same books over and over and over again. But oh well, I was a weird kid. But I never really got into like like Batman, like DC versus Marvel, all that kind of stuff until later in my life, and then I realized I was like, I kind of missed out on a really cool world. But it's interesting. Like I was telling Adam the other day, like Superman, he's based after Samson in the Bible.
Yeah.
It's a
And
cool story, bro.
apparently how he got created is the creator of Superman's parents got killed in a shooting in a bookstore.
The author or the creator of Superman?
Yeah, the creator of Superman. The
Huh.
Wright brothers.
Oh,
So his parents got shot in a bookstore, and he's like, one day he woke up and he's like, I'm gonna create a superhero comic.
really? I'll have to look into that. That's pretty crazy. Yeah, I mean, like I think, not amazing. I think huge life events cause us to like think about superheroes sometimes. You know, something crazy, tragic happens, and kind of wish we had a Superman. You know, or
Yeah.
at least like the Batmobile to just like ease our pain to cruise around and pick up some honeys.
Anyways, I think it's been 20 minutes. Garth's timer has gone off, so
Yeah, just can I finish what I was saying about the video game crash though?
Sure.
Just as an ending note, just pretty much like every company was jumping on the video game bandwagon, just turning out absolute trash, and just like nobody wanted to buy video games anymore. And then like Nintendo is basically the only company to like literally rise from the ashes and start making video games again.
Yeah.
And just like why the Nintendo Entertainment System looks like that is because when they were marketing it, just like they didn't want it to look like the Atari, like put the game in the top, like that's what people always thought about as a video game console.
Right.
And it's like, so if they do the front loading thing, it's like people will associate it more with a VCR instead of a video game console. It's like possibly the biggest like gamble ever in the video game market that actually panned out like insanely well. Like literally Nintendo just completely revived the video game market in 1985
by changing from
just changing
from the
the shape of the thing too,
yeah.
and their marketing campaigns and the
Yeah.
Nintendo seal of approval. Just like if you get this, it's like it ain't gonna be a shitty game.
Yeah, it's selling an idea, right? That's the main thing. Is you can sell the idea of something, and you can sell it as like the future of gaming. You know, that can all of a sudden. I mean, like there's some things like VR, right, where you see it and you're like, yeah, like we've all seen Star Trek, we've all seen Star Wars, and like virtual holograms and stuff, and it's when that first started coming out, like VR was just like, of course this is the future of gaming,
like the Virtual Boy.
Virtual Boy?
Yeah, Nintendo actually made that. It's a really rare console. Basically just like red and black graphics, and just like you have it on its stand, you just put your head into it.
Nice.
It's like literally there's like only something like 16 games for it.
Yeah, well, it probably didn't take
like
off, but
one of Nintendo's biggest flops.
Yeah, well, sometimes
VR is something interesting because it's definitely a step in the right direction, but it's also
the ramifications of VR. It's a little, like the holodeck. That's what I think of, right? When I think of VR, I think of a literal, like, interactive. You can feel like your senses are involved.
Yeah.
Like that's once you. I mean, it's taking things to the next level. I don't think we're. Well, I mean, we're getting there. I don't think it's so crazy to think that we're not getting. We can. The way that neuroscience is progressing and the way that VR is progressing, all that really needs to happen is a perfect wed of the two, and then we've got the holodeck.
Yeah, but at the same time, just like you don't really want to attach your brain to something. Just like what if somebody hacks or something?
And I mean, welcome to almost every sci-fi.
Yeah, it's literally the plot to almost every sci-fi movie ever, pretty much.
Yeah. Like we've thought about this stuff, right? Because it's like all that Black Mirror stuff. Do you have a favorite? Did you watch the Black Mirror at all?
No.
That one's like all like technology gone wrong.
I've watched I, Robot. That one movie's pretty scary.
Yeah, there's some pretty crazy ones in Black Mirror. I think I'm trying to think of my like favorite of that one. There's one that's like there's one where he's like, there is actually one called that's about gaming. That the guy like it's like they're trying out a new beta sequence of a horror video game, kind of like Resident Evil, actually very close to that.
Okay.
So the guy goes in and he's like like an all white room, and the guy slides over a piece of paper to him. I'm remembering it a bit fuzzy, but basically slides over this piece of paper, and he's like, it's like all confidential. But the thing that's so crazy about it, it's a mind game, right? Because before he signs up for this, you kind of go into some backstory with this guy, and his mom is what's she called? She's like, or no, it was something to do with like with like Alzheimer's, right? Like his mom's forgetting. I'm really not doing this justice, but I'll paraphrase. So,
Alzheimer's and/or dementia, pretty much.
yeah, like she's starting to like forget some things. She's just being a little bit forgetful, right?
Yeah.
And he's like worried about it, and you can tell that he's like it's causing him some anxiety. He's like, oh, my mom's like starting to not remember things so well. And then he's kind of off on his own. He's doing his own thing, and then he joins this. He just like randomly does this experiment, right? And they put him into this game, and in the game, it's like really messed up. And he's like, oh, I'm not scared. Like I'm not scared of anything. And then this like spider like comes down, and he's like, oh, that was kind of scary. And he can like sort of like feel things, like his senses are more involved. And it was just like all they did it was with like one little tiny chip, and they just put it on the side of his head, and then he like enters the game. It's like very like non-intrusive. It's like a little chip, right?
Yeah.
Technology, right? But so then this big like massive like spider that looks like one of his like his girlfriend or one of his like family members comes like running out of a room, and he's like, holy crap, like that. And it's like very real. And then he's like, I want out, get me out. And then he eventually like runs out of a door, and he wakes up, or you think he wakes up, and you think he kind of like leaves the testing facility, and then he goes home, and then he finds his mom, and his mom's like there, like completely like fallen into dementia, like doesn't remember him, like who are you? And he's like, no, and then he realizes that he's still in the game. So the game is like scaring him on that level. So like he gets on a plane, goes home, finds his mom suffering from dementia, but he's still in the game.
Yeah, it sounds like the crappiest video game ever.
And he eventually freaks out so much that he like has a heart attack or something. And then the last scene is them putting him into a body bag at the facility, and they're like, oh, okay, send to the next one. So I mean, that's like technology gone wrong, right? There's scaring somebody, and then there's like, but who knows, right? Like obviously that's Hollywoodized, and it's very, but that was a spooky episode.
Yeah, I don't know. For me, just like literally, I'm pretty much like 10 years behind technology-wise. I'm pretty sure it'll stay that way for a while.
Yeah.
It's just like, for me, literally the newest computer I have is from 2014.
Yeah. Let's keep it that way. Let's make technology great again. Let's make it old. None of this futuristic stuff.
Yeah, you never experienced patience until you tried to watch YouTube Pentium 3 Windows XP machine.
I'm gonna just laugh and say I nod my head like I know what you're talking about.
Like literally a computer from like 2004.
Oh wow.
Anyways, I think that's good for today.
Yeah, that's a good ending note.
Yeah.
This is
Adam.
And I'm Garth, and
Mr. S.
Mr. S, and this has been Am and Garth podcast. We hope to see you again next time, and you have yourself a good night.
Okay, bye.
Hope you enjoyed.
Okay.
All right.
Oh yeah, just scored again.
Yeah.